Hi guys, today let's understand about RPA as well as I'm going to walk through about Blueprism, various components involved in Blueprism. I would I would like to walk through each and every component we have in Blueprism at the high level, so you guys will get some awareness about Blueprism, what can we do with Blueprism, and how we can automate the process using Blueprism. Yeah, let's get started. So, so first, what is RPA? So RPA is robotic process automation. So it's a software program that can imitate human actions, which are highly repetitive, rule-based, and manual tasks. So let's take an example. I have an example for this. So let's, if you want to open account, so you will go to bank, right? So in bank you need to fill all the forms like your name, age, and your personal identification number, and lot of those stuff, and just you will give to the people over there. So those people will enter all these details into the database, not database, like exactly we will have some front-end application, and there they used to enter all these details, and they will generate one unique account number, and then they just submit all these details, and these details will feed to the some external database. So these are called back office operations. So these operations are repetitive, so we used to get lots of customers daily, and lots of people used to do these kind of things, and it's these are repetitive tasks, and moreover it's a manual task, right? So people so the person need to come and enter all these details. So these are these are manual tasks. And so we need to remember one thing. So here, structured data. So basically we can't implement RPA in each and every application. So in some application the data might be different, it might be unstructured, or the format is different. So in that such kind of scenarios we can't expose RPA, because RPA will support only structured data, so it should be fixed format, so then only we can apply this RPA to that application. So we need to make sure whenever if there is any uh, scope for RPA, so we need to make sure how the data it is there, how the data is coming, make sure it's a structured data. So then only we can during the discovery phase only we need to analyze the data, whether the data is structured data or unstructured data, and how the data is coming. So such kind of things you need to you need to do analysis at the discovery phase. And let's understand about the benefits. So what kind of benefits we are getting uh, when we implement RPA into our landscape. So whenever client wants to buy any software, so he just expect a return on investment, right? So what kind of returns he's getting when he's investing this much of amount for RPR to buy some bots. So so first thing is reduce processing cost. Yeah, that is true. So instead of hiring lots of people, uh, or instead of hiring lots of people and doing this kind of manual task for a lot of time, so it's like the processing time will be very high. Like let's take I have 1500 transactions, and if the persons are doing this 1500 transactions for some like maybe maybe 15 hours or something, and moreover moreover whenever human is doing this kind of actions, so it's a common like we may end up with some kind of issues as well. But once we implement bot there, we can reduce processing cost. So here we hire lots of people, and so instead of hiring lots of people, so we can uh, take license of one bot and we let's bot run uh, all these transactions. So here we can have lots of reduction processing cost, and productivity is very much high because like once it basically it gives 24/7. So when if human human is different, so in human have the personal life and they don't want to uh, work for like some people don't want to work for overnight or whatever reason, even though like the person is not feeling well. So there are a couple of reasons, but yeah, both don't have such kind of reasons, so it have 24/7 support. And scaling up is smooth, yeah, because so let's take today we have 1500 transactions, and tomorrow we used to get some it's double, like because of might be so weekends, or might be because of it's a seasonal, right? Sometimes we used to get lots of transactions or lots of data. It's based on the season. So that kind whenever human is doing such kind of manual tags, there is a lot of, so that's where like it's we used to get some kind of discrepancy, where human either will get some delay in loading or writing this transaction to the database because of huge volume of data, or else like we need to find other alternative, like it's a kind of burden for the human, and might be uh, we may end up with some kind of issues as well. But with the Blue Prism, whenever we set up a bot to run all these things, it's just a configuration settings where we need to do for like 10 to 15 minutes, and automatically it scale up to that, no matter how much amount of transaction RPA or bot can easily scale up. And average handling time is very good, like whenever human is doing such kind of transactions, anyhow it will take maybe 5 hours or 7 hours, let's take, but bot can complete within maybe like 1 hour. So there is the average handling time is there, is it's that's a good amount of reduction in average handling time. And we have better control over end-to-end process, where while designing the process uh, to automate the application, so we bot can have better control because we design in a such a way, so we can create our own exception handling blocks, so to make sure the bot is running even though we have any kind of system exception or whatever. So we can design our process in a such a way the bot will run no matter it's a network failure whatever it is. So the bot will have better control of end-to-end process. uh, Even like if you have any issues, so instead of sometimes like if due to some network failure or some kind of exceptions, if it is failure, so we may end up in corrupting the data. So we don't want to corrupt our data, or we don't want to end our process. So we design our process in RPA in such a way that so it continues the process. It even though like we have different exceptions, we design in a such a way, so so bot will have a good understanding about end-to-end process. And we have good consistency in terms of quality and accuracy, uh, protection and human resources to complete the repetitive. Yeah, that's true, right? So whenever we are hiring one bot to do all this task, so we can always reduce or we can remove this back office people, and we can shift to different departments, so they can uh, work in different kind of activities. So virtualized workforce, so basically virtualized workforce is nothing but, so we are removing all uh, human people, the back office people, and we are creating bot, right? So basically we are creating virtualized workforce, and we are removing the physical workforce what we have, what we have now. And let's come to RPA value proposition analysis. So whenever we want to implement RPA, or whenever we see there is opportunity for RPA, or so how can we identify, or how can we decide RPA is the best fit? Some scenarios where RPA don't fit. For example, let's take one person he's getting some one Excel file every day, or two or three Excel files, or quarterly he's getting some kind of data, some kind of market data to upload into the database, so that like they can use for other downstream systems. So he is uploading like data every quarterly or every weekly, whatever it may be. So in such kind of scenarios, we don't need to automate such kind of process, because we don't, it's waste of time or waste of money to invest on RPA for such kind of tasks. So first we need to check high volume of data. So whenever we have high volume of data, so then it makes sense, right? So whenever, so basically, I mentioned RPA is like we used to do whenever the tasks are manual task as well as like highly repetitive. So then we go for RPA, and then we need to have high volume of data, then it makes sense, right? Whenever, if like we are having like 10 to 20 records or 30 records, 30 transaction, when people are entering that amount of data to the database, it doesn't make any sense to invest such kind of uh, money to RPA if the data volume is very less. So we need to, during the discovery phase, we need to identify this is of main point, and we need to we need to make sure the fixed input and output. So I have already mentioned, so whenever the data is structured, and we have then whenever we have fixed input and output, then only we need to think about implementation of RPA in our environment, because RPA don't support unstructured data or of unfixed unfixed format of data, and the licensing cost. So here, whenever if I'm a client, so as I said, like we need to understand all these scenarios. I need to make sure we have high volumes of data and fixed input, and we have predefined decision tree. Predefined decision tree is nothing but like we need to have all the step-by-step process. Let's take if I'm entering values uh, from let's take in SAP, like we have different T codes, where we used to go for different T codes and enter values. So we need to have each step-by-step process, how they are doing these things manually with the screenshots. So this information is very useful, or it should be there for us. It should be documented for us, so that it's easy for us to build our process in RPA. And we need to make sure no human intervention required. Okay, so whenever we build RPA or solution to the client, we need to make sure no human intervention required, so otherwise it doesn't make any sense, right? And we need to think about licensing cost and implementation and BA cost. So how much the license cost, how much the once they are okay, and once they want to start implement RPA for their environment, we need to check the implementation cost well. So during this RPA value proposition analysis, so we need to consider these points. So we have different vendors, as you already know, like Blueprism is number one in RPA as of now, and then UiPath and Automation Anywhere and OpenSpan, and there are a couple of other like Workfusion and There are other tools as well, but these are the tools as of now. Like I just want to mention these are the main tools, but these first three tools are the like are hot in the market. So let's understand about architecture of Blueprism. So basically in Blueprism we have these four components, right? One is Blueprism interactive clients, one is Blueprism runtime resources, and Blueprism application server and database server. So what exactly it is? So in order to run our Blueprism, so we need to install Blueprism client as well as .NET, Microsoft .NET. So these two are mandatory in order to run your Blueprism into your local machine. So these two are the clients. So as Blueprism is based on .NET, so it is mandated to install .NET into your local systems. And there is, like you can see, Blueprism runtime resources and Blueprism application server. So Blueprism application server is a server where we used to deploy all our processes or whatever objects to the application server, and it interacts with the database servers. All the logs, whatever, whenever we are running process, we used to we used to what to say, write logs, right? So all these logs will store in database server, and this Blueprism runtime resources where all the bots will run to automate the target applications. So let's understand about different components at the high level. So we have different components in Blueprism. So let me open the Blueprism. So yeah, so if you see Blueprism, so these are the components. So once you have everything, once you have some license, um, then you can see all these components like home, studio, control, analytics, religious, and system. So I will just walk through all these components at the high level so that like you will be aware of what this component, what is the use of these components, and how can we automate the application using this Blueprism application, Blueprism RPA. So and so first so whenever you go to home, so you can see one dashboard, right? So these dashboards are stored procedures which is defined by Blueprism, and this stored at the SQL Server database. So these are the predefined stored procedures which is given by Blueprism. So we can change this dashboard based on our requirement. So let's go to Analytics tab. So here the dashboard is there, right? So here the default, this is the default dashboard, and if you want to, this is the default dashboard, right? And if you want to create your own dashboard, you can just create your, so there are two dashboards, right? Personal dashboard, so personal dashboard, global dashboard, and published dashboard. So and if you want to create your own dashboard, which create your on where you want to see the dashboard only for you, then you can create your personal dashboard, and global, which for all the people. And here you can create your dashboard, and you can create dashboard, drag in them here. You can create your own dashboards. Dashboard. 1 minute, I think. Yeah, sorry, and we need to go to the style wrapper. I was confused. Yeah, here you need to drag and drop whatever you want. These are the stored procedures, right? So um, which is given by Blueprism, which all this data is stored in backend database server. So here you can create your, or you can uh, create your own dashboard based on your project requirement. That's it. And these release management, so these releases are nothing but whenever you want to promote in real life scenario, right, where you want to, once you develop your uh, process and everything, and you want to promote to uh, quality or production, then we need to use this package. We need to use this release thing, where we need to create our own package, and we need to add all our required uh, processes and whatever, like queues and VBOs. So we need to add all those stuff, and we need to export it, which with .bp release extension, and we can import it in a different environment, so that like we can import all those uh, process related attributes to different environments. So that's the purpose of releases. And I have covered analytics, so this where we can create our own dashboards. So system, this is again it's a big thing, it's a big concept which I will cover in later stages. So basically these system in real life we don't get access to all these things, so control room or analytics. So basically our main work is to work with studio. So this is a studio where we can create our own processes and objects. So we basically we need to, whenever we are interacting with any application to automate the process, we need to create our own VBOs. So anyhow, Blueprism has given some predefined VBOs, but if whenever if you want to interact with application, so Blueprism should understand that application, right? So we need to share, Blueprism need to understand the functionality of the application, and once Blueprism understand the application by using VBOs, and we need to expose those VBOs into process, and in the process we need to automate uh, the uh, process, whatever business required, and there we need to uh, design our workflows, and we need to design our exception handling techniques as well. So we need to concentrate more as a developer on we need to concentrate on this tab. So basically control and all is useful for Blue Prism admin people, where they can once the process is done and published to the server, then we can schedule our processes, or we can do a lot of things, like for example, whenever we are using queues. So this queues is very um, important topic and very huge topic. So basically queues are, I can say, like whenever, let's take you have 1,000 transactions, and so to process the transactions, to make we need to load all those transactions in uh, one work queue, and we need to process the transaction one by one, and then we can uh, mark it as like completed or exception or pending. So by using different kind of logics, so that we can easily track, right? So here this is like, you can say, exceptions flag, and this is pending. Whenever it's completed, it will show as a tick mark. So these kind of things we can do in a control room. And so yeah, that's it. So there are a lot of things which we need to cover, especially let me show you one example, maybe see mail. So this is a process studio and this is object studio. Okay, so this is object studio. So even though it looks like same, but there are we can go here. So there are lots of difference, even though it looks like same, but there's lots of difference. So whenever if you want to spy or if you want to automate or interact with any application, then we go for object studio and explore. Let's Blueprism understand the functionality of the application and expose those videos to the object studio and then automate the process. So expose those VBOs to the process studio, and then we can apply our business logics and we can automate the process. So that's the idea behind object studio and process studio, and we have different options and we have different you can say, what you say, you can say components, or you can say some attributes or whatever it is. So these we need to use these blocks, or we need to use these objects to make our process automate. So that's it from my end for now, and in the next session I'm going to cover each and every action whatever we have here, like decision, when can we use these different blocks, when can we use loop, and what is the collection, what is the data item, when can we use this exception. So these each and I will cover each and every topic, each and every block, and I will also explain difference between object studio and process studio. Yeah, then we can uh, move on for different examples or use cases for desktop application, and maybe like we can also see uh, web-based applications automation as well. I think that's it from my end. Thank you.